Hi, welcome to Module 2, the home environment. Today we're going to focus on converting part of our home into a study environment. You know, children seldom see our homes as a learning place. Instead, they think of studying and learning as activities that occur only at school. We as parents need to teach our children to respect the intellectual potential of our homes. All parents can become learning architects. We just need the right tools. To demonstrate this, we're going to do a little activity together. So I'm going to give you directions, and then if you'll just pause the video and do the activity and restart when you're complete. The first part of the activity, I want you to get a piece of your red construction paper from your kit, an index card, and a pencil. Those are the only three things I want you to get. Red construction paper, an index card, and a pencil. Using these three things, I want you to cut a circle, a square, and a triangle. And I want you to glue them together to make a picture. Take a few minutes and do that, and then restart your video. Okay, now I want you to get some other things from your kit for the second part of this activity. You will need a piece of construction paper, scissors, glue, and a pencil. Now, I would like for you to draw a circle, a square, and a triangle on your paper. Use your scissors to cut those out, and then glue them together to make a figure. Please restart the video when you have finished. Now, the purpose of this activity is to show us if we do not have the right tools, it's impossible to complete an activity. The first part of the activity where we didn't have our scissors or our glue, it was impossible to cut shapes. We could tear them, but we don't get the same results as we do with the scissors. And there was no way to stick them together without some kind of adhesive. But when we added the glue and the scissors, when we added those tools that we needed, we found that the activity became simple and meaningful. This is the same thing that happens with studying at home. When we have the workspace we need and we have the tools that we need, we find that it becomes much easier. So today we're going to talk about our home learning environment. And this is so important that we do think of home as a place we learn. You know, this year more than ever we've used our home as a learning environment with virtual. I've seen so many parents that have set up their homes where their children do have their own little space to learn and to study. But we're going to learn how to do this. So from the very beginning of the school year, your child will have a place that's their own that they think of as their learning environment. A stable home environment is fundamental to improving student learning. Children require a stable home environment for learning that provides emotional and physical support. Any home can become an educational castle if we as parents make an effort. There are 6 steps that we need to learn to become learning architects. The first one is to develop a special study area. This does not have to be a large area. Just find an area in your home where students can study, where your child can study, and that it will be their own little area. So developing a special study area is so important when we're becoming learning architects. We need to stress the importance of having that special study area. And we need to let our children know that this is your area. And this area isn't for play. This area isn't for watching TV. This area is for studying. We need to neutralize the enemies of learning. And in this day and age, we know that that is electronics, because those things are so appealing to our children. They want to be on those video games. They want to watch TV. They want to be on social media. But it's so important that those things are not a part of our special study area. We need to equip our special study area with the supplies that our students need, that our children need. And we learned this through our activity this morning. We need to label their drawers, their shelves, and their cabinets with the supplies that are in them so they know this is where I can find this. They become familiar with it. We need to provide a system so that their schoolwork can be organized. This is so important. When we're not organized, we find ourselves becoming overwhelmed. And can you imagine a child? So we're not only organizing their schoolwork to help them, but we're teaching them to organize and to become more efficient learners. Okay, television has become a symbol of American culture. It entertains us, informs us, but its potential to interfere with learning is enormous. And we know this from an early age. Children come in, they drop those book bags, and the first thing they want to do is get a snack and go watch TV. So television does have its time and place, but we do not need to let it interfere with their study time and their learning time. So we need to have specific times that they can watch TV, and these need to be a small amount of time, and they do not need to interfere with their study time. Television can actually be a friend of learning, or it can be learning's biggest adversary. Television can expose children to a heavy diet of raw violence and mindless commercials. We need to monitor what our children are watching on TV. According to the APA, before children complete elementary school, they will have watched 8,000 to 100,000 episodes of television violence. That is unreal, isn't it? By the time children are 18 years old, they have watched 40,000 to 200,000 acts of violence. Let's let that sink in. By the time your child is 18, by watching television, they could have witnessed 200,000 acts of violence. Children under the age of 8, there are 33% of children under the age of 8 who have a TV in their bedroom. There are 67% of children over the age of 8 who have a TV in their bedroom. One study showed that the average child spends 10,000 to 15,000 hours in front of the television before they're 18 years old. They spend up to 15,000 hours in front of a TV. The average child aged 2 to 11 views at least 28 hours of television each week. That's more than a whole 24-hour day. They view 28 hours of television a week. Our televisions are raising many of our children. It's just so easy to put them in front of the TV, to get them to be quiet, to give them something to do so we can do housework or we can do something with our job. Many children are receiving the main part of their education from the television. Many of our children are forming their values, their attitudes, and their behavior from what they see on television. We all know that too much television can hatch lazy bodies and even lazier minds. When children are watching TV, they are not thinking for themselves. TV is just a way to, sometimes we use it to relax, but there's no thinking involved. So, we need to begin by removing all television sets from our children's bedrooms. We need to set up reasonable rules for watching television and definitely have limited times on watching television. And we need to be monitoring what our children are watching on TV. So here are some rules that should govern your TV watching at home. We need to identify those forbidden shows, the shows that children cannot watch, absolutely cannot watch this show. We need to limit their time and make this clear to them. This is the time that you can watch TV. We need to make sure they spend more time on homework than on watching TV. Think about those 28 hours a week if some of that time was spent on homework rather than on watching TV. And again, this is going to have to become a habit. It's going to take practice and consistency. Homework should always be completed before extending their TV viewing time. So, today we've talked about establishing a study environment, a place where your child feels safe and secure to study and to learn those study habits that we're going to continue to talk about, their special study area. And we've talked about how we want to take those things that hinder them from studying out of that area. So if their area is in their bedroom, we need, when they can have a desk or an area set up to do their schoolwork with labeled drawers and files, a place where they can organize their schoolwork and all the tools they need to be successful with their studying available to them. And we need to make sure that there are no video games or TVs available because these are very distracting. So to conclude today's lesson, I would like for you to begin a log of your child's TV watching. I think it's sort of like when we go on a diet, we write down what we've eaten that day, and we're so shocked at the end of the day, wow, I didn't realize I was eating all of this. It's the same thing with TV. So begin a log, and each day I want you to log all of the TV that your child's watching, the name of the show, and the time that they spent watching TV. And then I want you to look at this with your child at the end of the week and talk about how we can cut back on this time. Also, part of your assignment for this lesson is to go over TV rules with your child, to go over the times that they can watch TV, and to talk about the shows that they absolutely should not be watching. Okay, so let's start a TV log, and let's look at what TV our children are watching. And at the same time, I want you to start setting up that special study area for your child to have. See you soon.